Hey everyone, welcome to the first tutorial about RestApia. I would like to share with you today some first steps about how to use it. You will see how to install it, and we will test a few requests. As an example, I will connect to the OpenAI API with headers for authorization, define a few variables, and show you some basic settings. This video will not be too long, and it's my first time creating such a video. So let's see how it will go. I will start with the installation. RestApia is currently available for Windows, but is planned to be released for macOS soon, and later for Linux. The easiest way to install it on Windows is to use winget. I'll grab the command to install from RestApia.app. I will click this button, and then run this command in the terminal. It will take a bit of time, but usually not longer than a minute. After installation, you'll have a RestApia shortcut on your desktop, or you can find it in the Start menu. Okay, there we are. Let's start it, and I'll tell you a bit about the idea of projects in RestApia. In RestApia, all of your requests can be saved in a folder physically on your disk. So you can have them somewhere close to your code, for example. Request collections are named as workspaces. If you have multiple workspaces, you can group them together as one project. This is the general idea of projects in RestApia. As you can see, I already have a few projects here, but let's create a new one. First, I'll select a place where my workspace will store requests. Let's create a new folder named OpenAI API. Okay, and I'll change the project name to Tutorials. I'll probably use it later for some next videos. Perfect, so we have our brand new project in the list. Let's click it and see what RestApia looks like inside. But before we create our first request, I want to quickly show you some general UI aspects just to familiarize you a bit. On the left side, there's the collection list, which is empty now, but we'll fix that in a moment. On the right side, we'll have the request details and response information. All requests open as tabs, which I find pretty handy. There you can find some RestApia settings. The most interesting in the beginning, I think, might be the proxy settings, if you use them in your network setup, and the request settings can help configure RestApia if you have specific request requirements. And in case you need some information, in the About section, you can find a few links where you can get it. Okay, let's complete with a quick settings review. And it's time to see RestApia in action. Let's create our first request. I'll create a draft request by just clicking this plus button. And I've already prepared a request. Let's use it. It's a pretty simple one, just to demonstrate the basic idea of RestApia, just to show how to run your requests and work with the response. Let's clicking send. And we have the response. It's a simple JSON response, but we can also find here headers, cookies, and other information about the execution. It can be helpful if something doesn't work as expected. Good, this is a way for a quick calls, but let's create our collection of requests. I would start with a new folder. Let's name it Common Cases. I can create a draft again and save it later in this folder, but I will create this request directly in folder. Let's name it as Chat Completions. I've already prepared the request. There's the endpoint from the OpenAI documentation. I'll save the request with the context menu, but you can also press Ctrl S. Yep. So as you can see, I use the host variable in the request, and I need to define it first. I could write the variable right here in the request, like this. But as I will use it in other requests, let's create it as a global variable. I'll create it for the entire workspace. So then let's add values at the workspace level. With the context menu then, add more and new values. I'll skip environment settings for today, but if you're familiar with Postman, Insomnia, or any other API testing tools, the idea of environments is the same in RestApia. Okay, we'll use user values, which are just key value pairs saved with your requests. But by design, RestApia can support more providers with extensions. Let's add our host value here. Good, we also need a version. I will define it as a variable and use it in the host, but you can simplify it. I just like to make everything configurable. You don't need to be so crazy like me. Perfect. Now we're missing the JSON body for the request. Let's add it according to the OpenAI documentation. And now we can hit the send button. Let's see what happens. Unauthorized, okay, that's expected. It's because we need to send our access token with the request. And again, I could define the header right in the request. But as I need it for other requests, I will add it for the entire workspace. To inject headers, it's very easy. Similar to variables, just add @ in the beginning of the variable name, and I'll define token as a variable. Please don't look at it. Last point of my perfectionism, I would add some comments here, just to make it easier to read. And now everything should work. Let's click send. And ta-dam, we have the response. Perfect, that's it in general. That is how easily you can build your collection with RestApia. I have already prepared a project with a bit more requests to the OpenAI API. Let me second to open it. As you can see, requests in general have endpoint definition. Some request body. I also like to use variables in request when I want to move out some part of body content, like message we sending to AI. Request can also have test assertions, but let's discuss about it next time. At the moment I'm making this video, I don't know yet where I can publish this collection, but if I find a place, there will be a link under this video. And this is all for today, I think. Thank you for staying with me this time. I hope it will help you to learn a bit more about RestApia, and I hope you will try it if it works for you. So feel free to play with RestApia, and your feedback is very important. Have fun, bye!